Hey guys, what's up everybody from YouTube? Today I just wanted to talk about my commander decks. I thought about this idea for a while, just getting my commander decks out there, letting you guys know what I play, if you're interested in getting them. I also want to get my cards just kind of recorded in time and history. I think it's super neat. Get some of my favorite ideas. And whatnot to start with one of my first commander decks ever is Jalira, Master Polymorphist. Now I did get this all doodled on and scribbled on by Steve Prescott, met him at MagicCon Chicago. But let's see if I can get this out of the hard case so you can see it a bit better. If you guys don't know Jalira, this is the original set. She came out in 2015 as a rare. She's no longer a rare anymore. Power creep happens. But for 4 mana, 3 and a blue, she's a 2/2, legendary human wizard. But she has an activated ability by paying 2 and a blue and tapping her and sacrifice another creature. Then you reveal cards from the top of your library and to reveal a non-legendary creature card. Put that onto the battlefield and the rest on bottom of your library in any order. So this is a polymorph deck, as she is clearly labeled Polymorphist. We're running 1 non-legendary creature, and being one of my first decks, oh yeah, you guessed it, Blightsteel Colossus, our bad boy. This is our win condition. We're not casting the 12 mana on this bad boy, but it's 11/11, trample, infect, indestructible, big important things, all great keywords. And then what's pretty important though is that if Blightsteel Colossus would be put anywhere into the graveyard, will be put into the graveyard from anywhere, reveal Blightsteel Colossus and shuffle it back to its owner's deck. What's great is that, yes, I'm going to get Jalira out there as fast as possible, ASAP. Get that thing going, sacrifice a creature, and boom, we get Blightsteel right on there. If we have Blightsteel though, we have Jalira untapped. It's basically a defense position from there. If someone targets my Blightsteel with a Swords to Plowshares or something, I can pay 3, tap Jalira, sacrifice my Blightsteel Colossus before the colon. Blightsteel Colossus is a replacement effect. It's not even a trigger. So instead of even going to the graveyard and being exposed to someone playing Scavenging Ooze or anything that can exile, it's a replacement effect. It's immediately shuffled back into my deck. And guess what? My only creature that's still there, boom, Blightsteel's back out. Their Swords to Plowshares fizzles. It's hilarious. People never even think about that. But this is one of my favorite decks. We're just going to go over what I have in the deck. Maybe I'll put those to the side over there. We'll just start off with the creatures. Oh, you're saying creatures. You said you have creatures. Legendary creatures. There's not a single non-legendary creature. Now we got Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator in here. 3 mana, 2/2, Siren Pirate. Legendary. It's got flying. This is basically just a ramp piece. Whenever one or more pirates you control deal damage to opponents, you create a treasure token for each opponent that's dealt damage. So this is just going to just get me there. Give me some ramp. It's got good evasion. And it's a legendary creature that I can sacrifice. Gadwick, been just trying him out. He's been actually pretty good, just being in mono blue. So the triple blue isn't too hard to cast. It actually is a little bit once we check out my mana base. So I don't know, I'm not too keen on him, but I'm trying him out. But whenever I cast a blue spell, tap target non-land permanent opponent controls, which has been pretty nice to get Blightsteel going out and killing people. One of my favorites, Sun Quan, Lord of Wu. Man, I love these old Portal 3 Kingdom cards. All your creatures gain horsemanship as long as Sun Quan is out. Just imagining Blightsteel on a horse is one of my favorite thoughts ever in Magic. It just cracks me up every single time. I don't know. It's great. He's great. This deck's great. Venser, pretty normal. And mono blue list, I mean, he can bounce that stacks piece going out. Yeah, really versatile, like Venser. Urza, awesome card, as everybody knows. You could just pay 5, maybe get Blightsteel going at that point if you're desperate. But creates 2 bodies to sacrifice to Jalira. Usually I'll sacrifice a little construct he makes. Sakashima. Awesome, just getting a second Jalira out, a second Blightsteel out. Always good. Just extra protection of having Jalira, because everyone's going to be trying to get Jalira off of the battlefield, because I'm just ramping her out ASAP. Jace, Finn's Prodigy, just looting, getting yourself draws, early plays, nice early creature to come out, and if you don't know, he flips to Jace, where I can flashback a certain instant or sorcery card. Pretty decent. Another Sakashima, same thing, copying Jalira so nobody can do it. Califi, really love this card. Creatures and enchantments you control have spells your opponents cast that target this permanent, cost 1 more, so kind of award 1 on both my Jalira and my Blightsteel when I get that out. Kami of the Crescent Moon, fun one. This is a secret layer version. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. So I'm just trying to get whatever I can to get Jalira out, to get Blightsteel out, to start attacking, because that's still not the strongest thing I could be doing. Attacking with the Blightsteel is pretty slow nowadays, and everyone's packing Swords of Plowshares, but hey, I keep drawing cards, and once I need to sacrifice them to have my opponents not draw cards, I got Jalira there as a sack outlet. Brawl, Chief of Compliance. We're playing blue. We got counter spells. It's a cheap legendary creature. Thada Adele, still love this card. It's really slow. It's a 3 mana 2/2 Island Walk, but when it deals combat damage to a player, search that player's library for an artifact, exile it, then that player shuffles his library until end of turn you may play that card. Grab your opponent's soul rings. Always fun. She's just been a little slow recently. I mean, it's been in the deck since day 1, so. Hope of Gearpoor, legendary artifact creature that is not a vehicle, because this wasn't vehicles at the time. Super nice, cheap guy. Zujin, Wu Strategist. 1 blue for 1/1. On your turn before you attack, you may tap him to make 1 creature unblockable. Oh yeah, unblockable Blightsteel. Then Esor, another protection, flying 1/3, legendary creature. Spells your opponents cast that target 1 or more commanders you control. It costs 3 more to cast, so they gotta take out this before taking out the Jalira. It's my creature package. Always fun. Love the Portal 3 Kingdoms cards. The copying. And once they print some more cheap blue legends, probably fit more into there. Now let's move on to the instants. Probably going to be pretty usual is what you've seen, but I like this Sublime Epiphany. It has been pretty good. It does cost 6. It's a lot, but the main thing here is create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. I can create a Blightsteel. Blightsteel, right. He's not legendary. You can make as many copies as you want with him, but it's also counter target spell, bounce something, make an extra Blightsteel, draw a card. It does a lot. I like it. It is 6 mana, but usually like 4 for 1 with this card if you can cast it. Another thing where choose target artifact to control. Each other artifact you control becomes a copy of the artifact. So my Blightsteel, all my soul rings and other artifacts are now Blightsteels. Or creates 3/3s that I can sack to Jalira to find Blightsteel. Been super versatile. Love it. High Tide, just got a ramp into Jalira. Really not really, I don't have any untap effects or anything. This is just a ramp piece, which is fine. I like High Tide. Force of Will, gotta have it. Abjure, just sacrifice a blue permanent to counter target spell for 1 mana. Since I'm going as fast as I can to get Jalira out, I need as cheap as I can counter spells to counter anything to not touch my Jalira. So, Reality Shift, classic removal, exile target creature, they manifest the top card. Resculpt, been really versatile, exile artifact or creature, and then I get a 4/4. Fierce Guardianship, since I'm getting Jalira out as fast as possible, this is fine. Force, negation, of course. Drawer's Disruption, another counter spell, but it is a land. It is a tap land, but I do have the silly thing I'm going to show you a little bit later that I care about unique lands, and you might know what I'm talking about, but we'll get to that. It's a counterspell. Laser Tap Plating, when this came out, this was pretty hot, but everyone's kind of forgot about it, but it's you and permanents you control became hexproof until end of turn, so that's also me, so it blocks like Thoughtseize and stuff, anything that targets, but the main thing I'm looking for is the Mass 1. That's a creature that I can sacrifice to Jalira to get Blightsteel. Awesome. It is 2 mana, it's a little much, but I love it. Pact of Negation, right, getting her out ASAP is, I just need quick, cheap removal for counterspells. Solemnity Vision is another unique land, right, uniquely named Solemnity Isle, but it's just dig. Look through the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them, put them in your hand, press them bottom, grabbing that pack, that Force of Will, Fierce Protection is what I really need. Rapid Hybridization, classic 1 mana removal spell. Dispel, instant. I still run this because, yes, I'm just trying to protect her or protect him as much as possible. But if I protect her, like I said, she can protect him. All goes into the same, so just need to counter that. Swords to Plowshares I'm looking for. Swan Song, same. Enchantment, instant or sorcery is what I'm really worried about, is what I want to counter. Cyclonic Rift, of course. You're not playing Commander if you're not packing a Cyclonic Rift. And Pongify. Gotta have the both cheap 1 mana removal spells. That is the instance. Pretty common, but like I said, those dual lands or MFDCs, pretty unique. Sorceries, this is a classic card. Teleman Performance, it's pretty slow, but it's 3 blue. Target opponent reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a creature card. That player puts all non-creature cards revealed this way onto their graveyard. Then I put a creature card into play under my control. I steal a creature that I can now sacrifice to make into Blightsteel. That's basically it. Sometimes you can play tricky, fun things because they're setting up the top of their deck and stuff, and you mess up them. But basically, just give me a creature. Seagate Restoration, another MFDC, this time untapped, which is nice. Rarely cast it, but 7 mana, draw cards equal to number of cards in hand +1. No maximum hand size. Right of Replication. Love this card. Make Blightsteels. Usually I'm just casting it for 4, but if you can get up to 9, sure. Fun. Echo of Eons. Always just need to reshuffle the hand. Draw new cards just to reset. Nice old reset. Bribery. Again, I need creatures that are not, well, they need to be legendary or my opponent's creatures. Bribery, search target's opponent's library for a creature card, put that into play under your control. Sometimes they can get like an Atali or a Trox or something good, so that can almost win the game on its own. Time Twister, yes, this is a proxy I'm using, but I have the gold border one. I don't know. I like to say Commander's a proxy-friendly place. If I really wanted to pull out that one, which cost me a lot of money, I could. Me and my play group, we play with proxies. Go to town. Windfall and Time Spiral, just refilling that hand, trying to go as fast as possible to get my Broken Rocks, as we'll come up to. And then All Is Dust, hilarious card. Each player sacrifice all colored permanents they control. So get Blightsteel out, All Is Dust everything. Make sure I have maybe a counterspell or 2 still left to go over, just in case they have the removal for Blightsteel, but this is kind of like an all-in, the old school like Armageddon type things. Like, I got my big guy, destroy all lands, hopefully win the game from there. This is kind of like the fair version of Armageddon. The blue version, I guess, I don't know. Blightsteel version. We'll leave it at that. Now let's get to the broken rocks, I guess. Soul Ring, gotta pack the Soul Ring. Sword of Hearth and Home, been kind of liking this one, trying it out. But when it deals combat damage to a player, exile up to one creature you control, then search your library for a basic land card, put both cards onto the battlefield under your control, then shuffle. Not too much that I actually get a blink. I get a blink like my Sakashimas, which is pretty nice. But just ramping again is really what I need because they're going to remove Jalira once or twice, and I need to keep playing. Zephyr Boots give Blightsteel flying, or I can give one of my guys loot effect. Trailblazer Boots, non-basic, Landwalk, Blightsteel, unblockable. Classic Mindstone, ramp, which is nice. I like my 2-drop rocks because Jalira is a 4-drop. You always want to kind of like look at that for your commander. Is where's your commander? What's your play pattern? My commander's a 4-drop. I play a 2-drop Mindstone. I can play Jalira on turn 3 then. That's really key of what I'm trying to do. I know I'm going to say Soul Ring, but Soul Ring is busted in the deck. Play Soul Ring turn 1, play Jalira turn 2. Stuff like that. Chrome Mox, of course. Mox Opal. We'll hopefully run enough artifacts just to get Mox. I like just even risking it in this deck that at the points that I don't even have Metalcraft, just at the times I do, it will be key. Swiftfoot Boots, always protection. Arcane Signet, Mana Crypt. Neerok Stealth Suit is a fun one. Equipped creature can't be the target of spells or abilities for 2. Equip 1, but it has this unique ability, double blue, attach Neerok Stealth Suit to target creature I control. You can do that at instant speed. Just switch from Jalira to Blightsteel to Jalira, holding up my counter spells, whatever I need. Usually with Jalira 2 is nice with counter spells. With this is that I need to pay 3 mana for that activated ability, and I can do that on instant speed. So when I know it's about to be around to my turn again, right before that is usually when I activate Jalira. But if anything goes south, I can play my counter spells, I can play this, do anything. But if I know it's open, about to be my turn, use Jalira, get the Blightsteel, then it's my turn again. The Jalira is ready to protect the Blightsteel, and the Blightsteel has pseudo haste. It can attack that turn. With people who don't know the deck, and I'm trying to be sleazy, usually I always say, guys, this is polymorph into Blightsteel. I'm going to do that. This deck I've played a lot online with strangers, and they don't like Blightsteel. So if I don't tell them, or they get very, very tilted, oh, you built a whole deck that could just get around Blightsteel right away as fast as possible. Like, yeah. I mean, that's the deck. So pseudo haste, trying to get them as fast as possible. I think that's what I was talking about. So Neerok Stealth Suit, pretty good. Quicksilver Fountain. This is a fun one. They have been printing now flood counters on things, which they made flood counters now more friendly. This is the old school flood counters. We'll just read this. For 3 mana, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts a flood counter on target non-island he or she controls. That land is now an island as long as there's a flood counter on it. At the end of turn, all lands in play are islands. Remove all flood counters from them. Doesn't remove this, just kind of resets the clock. But say I pass to my opponent. On their turn, they get to choose whichever land they don't really need, that's what they're going to be advantageous for. Say, I don't need this forest. It can now be an island. But now it's forever an island. It's no longer just a forest. The new flood counters it's an island in addition to its types. So they want to use this more as like, now I can use my Merfolk Island Walk or something like that. But this literally deletes the color. They have the guy's cradle as like their last one or whatever. It's no longer doesn't tap for green for each creature you control. It's just an island. So you get this out quick, and it goes. Another thing, you're like, but I only have islands, right? So this can flood out pretty quickly. But I'm going to save the lands for last. If you haven't guessed by now, I like unique lands. Lightning Greaves, Sandals of Abadali. Abadala. I never really know how to. I always say Abadali. I don't know. This is from Legends, old school card. I just like running it. It's pretty bad, but it's awesome. For 4 mana, you get a mono artifact, so that means you use it once. You have to tap it to activate. So 2 mana and tap it gives 1 creature island walked ability until end of turn. If that creature is destroyed before end of turn, so are the sandals. So this is like the old school way of, it's actually equipment. He puts on the sandals until end of turn. If he dies, the sandals also die. Very funny, very awesome. I just love running in old school legend cards. I don't know. I got Portal 3 Kingdom cards in this deck. I got legend cards. Just this deck's, I guess, tilt central is what I like to call it. Liquid Metal Torque. It's a 2 mana rock. Like I said, 2 mana to get into Jalira to turn 3. Add 1 of this, but then target non-land permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types till end of turn. Comes up quite a bit. Can't really think of anything on the top of my head, but let's say I really wanted that Rhystic Study gone. I can say Rhystic Study is now an artifact. Let's add an idea, and then I could use going back to my instance. There we go. For Resculpt, exile target artifact or creature. Its controller makes it so. Now I make that Rhystic Study is now an artifact. Use the Resculpt. Good removal. Comes up more often than you think. Super fun. Blade of Selves. Now this is the finisher. Like I said, attacking with 1 Blightsteel at a time. It's, in fact, taking 1 player out slowly. You're not winning the game. I'm not playing Thassa's Oracle Demonic Consultation. I just win. I need to hit 3 players out, which is very, very rough. But the Blade of Selves, man, gives my Blightsteel my red. Whenever it attacks for each opponent other than the defending player, I create a token that's a copy of that creature that's attacking the other player they control. Exile those tokens at the end of combat. Like I said, Blightsteel is not a legendary. So this is the only thing that it could really equip to because of the legendary restriction. But one of the main finishers in the deck, Grim Monolith, Sapphire Medallion, ramping into Jalira. Sapphire Medallion also just kind of works in that way where turn 2 Medallion, turn 3 Jalira. Very key, very key. Alright, those are the artifacts I have. Now we'll do the enchantments. We have a copy artifact. Classic, 2 mana. Get my opponent's soul ring. Get their mana rock. Turn 2, mana rock. Turn 3, Jalira. I think we're getting it here. But also, I love it in this deck because this can copy, you guessed it, the one, the only, the Blightsteel Colossus. Okay, 2 Blightsteel Colossus is better than 1. Rhystic Study. Come on, people. Mystic Remora. It's 2 parried. We need to draw into our stuff. I love Imprison in the Moon. Classic removal. You hit this on your opponent's commanders, and boom, they're like, I can't cast my commander. I can't do anything. I must remove my own commander. Lignify is another great one, but we're playing in blue. This is the blue Lignify. Enchant creature, land, or planeswalker. Pretty versatile. Enchanted permanent is a colorless land with tap, add colorless to your mana pool, and loses all other card types and abilities. So you hit this on their commander, they're just going to sit there. I like to say, hey, I ramped you. And commander players love ramp, you know. The Tilt Central deck. Don't worry, you won't have your commander, but I ramped you. All right, we actually have a few planeswalkers. Tezzeret, old school Tezzeret. +1, untap 2 target artifacts. You can untap the Blightsteel. It's more of just a ramp piece where later on in the game you can really get up there. But -X, search a library for an artifact with converted mana cost X or less, put it into play. This could either be a ramp piece, like I'm saying, or it can find the boots that it can really give them evasion, or Blade of Selves to really close out the game. I like them for that. Artifacts you control become 5/5 creatures to end a turn. You normally don't do that. Ugin, since I'm kind of getting up there with big mana, I have a lot of rocks. I like Ugin just to reset the board. They've been hating on Jalira for a while. Just keep removing. Get the Ugin out, reset the board, and hopefully all of their blockers are gone. Like, usually people pile up with their stuff over and over, and you just kind of have to reset the board. And what's great is that it's exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less. That's one or more colors. This doesn't touch Blightsteel, even though you don't get there, but like, kind of get the point there. Just need to clear the way for Blightsteel to attack. His +2 is bonkers too. Deal 3 to any target. Insane. Teferi, Master of Time. Fun one I've been always trying out. You may activate loyal abilities anytime it's a player's turn. So as an instant, every single turn on your opponent's two, you're drawing a card and discarding a card. Target creature you control phases out. So this protects my Blightsteel. This protects my Jalira. But also, what's kind of crucial is that sometimes with this deck, you just draw your Blightsteel Colossus. You get them in your hand, and you're like, this is horrible. You're trying to cheat them out with Jalira. You don't draw them. We're playing Commander. You only have one of them in your deck. You don't want to draw them. So you use Looters, just like that Baby Jays I had back. But any way to discard Blightsteel puts them back into the deck, shuffles. And like I said, it's a replacement effect. It's not a trigger like an Eldrazi. So he gets straight back into it. And then I can activate Jalira or whatever. Sometimes -10, take 2 extra turns after that one. You usually win off of that. Kasmina is awesome. 4 mana. Spells your opponent's cast that target a creature or planeswalker you control cost 2 more to cast. Like I said, we're protecting these bad boys. But also, -2, create a 2/2 blue wizard creature token and draw and discard a card. So it creates our creature that Jalira can then sacrifice to get Blightsteel out. It protects the Blightsteel Jalira, and it makes me discard that Blightsteel that I would get in my hand. Awesome, awesome card. Now we're going to go to the lands. Let's just find it. All right, been alluding to it so much, but I'm a mono blue deck that's hoping on Field of the Dead. This normally doesn't happen, I know, and it's a tap land. But being monocolored, I can really run colorless lands without worrying too much. And running tap lands are pretty bad. But the colorless part, I don't really care because I only need a few pips here and there. But this, being able to make a 2/2 black zombie whenever I landfall at some point to be able to sack to Jalira to Blightsteel is awesome. Because sometimes you're just sitting there and you have no creatures to sacrifice. And you can't get Blightsteel and you're not doing anything. So I think with this package, it's been running pretty good. Hostile Desert, pay 2, exile land card from your graveyard, and then it becomes a 3/4 elemental creature. Man lands are pretty huge, where I can sacrifice these. Now this gets it's legendary creatures, man lands, sorceries, and instants that make creatures for myself to be able to sack to Jalira to get my Blightsteel. Super cute, or super important on getting them. Fabled Passage, right? It's a monocolor. Why do I need this? But Field of the Dead, love it. See the Cyanide, artifact land for the Mox Opal, and also for the unique name, pretty key. Prismatic Vista, same thing. Terramorphic Expanse, always having the different names. This Evolving Wilds, I'm sure you've seen Terramorphic Expanse. Blinkbond Nexus, being a man land, becoming a 1/1 artifact creature. Flying, man land to sack. Snow covered, you gotta have snow covered to both flex and people use extra planar lens. Another man land, this is also why we run snow. Right after that, it's a snow man land. So 1 in the snow, it becomes a 2/3 construct. Whenever it deals damage to a creature, or to a creature, tap that creature, doesn't untap. So this could be a pretty good blocker too. It's also an artifact creature. Mox, Opal. Things come up more often than you think. Ancient Tomb, turn 3, Jalira. Do I have to say more? Urza Saga, gotta be running this. Creates creatures for Jalira. Searches for rear ram pieces. This card has been, you've seen it. You've seen it around. Amazing card. Snow, high market. Very, very key having a sack outlet. And this is a free one that people don't really see, is that, yes, my Jalira is finally tapped, or we got rid of it, and now we're going to get rid of Blightsteel. A lot of people like to, super focus on this deck because they're like, oh, that Blightsteel is going to kill somebody, but, like, other people are playing much more scary stuff. But they super focus on it, and so they finally get this done, but once they target Blightsteel, I could sack them. Sack them instant speed. Very key that people don't normally see, and you should be running high market in more of your decks. Fairy Conclave, the first manlands of manlands. Let's see, pay 2, it becomes a 2/1 creature with a flying till end of turn. It does come into play tapped. Inventor's Fair, beginning of your upkeep, you control 3 more artifacts, you gain a life, but most importantly, it's an untapped land. But paid 4, sacrifice it, search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Activate this if you only have 3 or more. Very versatile. Crystal Vein, untapped land, unique name, sack it, add 2. Turn 3, Jalira. All right. Mired Landscape, just kind of a slow ramper. I love this card. Manland, becomes a 2/2. Like I'm saying, like I have all these manlands and I had it before, and I just thought Field of the Dead could be just perfect into this deck, and it's been working out pretty well. Mirror Pool, I'm still trying out. Tapped again, but sacrifice it, copy target insert sorcery spell you control, choose new copies, or put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature I control. Multiple Blightsteels. Like I said, I only have legendaries, so that's really the only thing. Mutavault, classic manland, Evolving Wilds, Halimar Depths, unique name, awesome at the start of your hand, just so you look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order, you know what's going to happen. Or, I was going to say then you can activate like Jalira or something, but if you don't like them, that's like, maybe you can do like Time Twister or something. Like knowing the top of your deck's always useful. Terminal Mooring, untapped land, but pay 2, sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card and put it into play tapped. As long as I have my blue, I like keeping these. You don't need to like search for your stuff, just for Field of the Dead, having that. And Inkmoth Nexus, just one of the better manlands because it is Infect. 1/1 flying, Infect until end of turn, artifact creature 2. But sometimes you get Blightsteel, you get him out, you only get him hit him for 9 or something. They're like, I block with a 2/2. I'm okay. And you hit him with the Inkmoth Nexus just to finish him off. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I don't know, just wanted to start my Commander series, show off my decks, get my decks on camera is kind of the main thing. But let me know if you like seeing my decks. This is definitely one of my old school ones. I have 20 more Commander decks. I have had a lot more back in my day. I've been playing for a long time. Just once you get over 20, I feel like I never get to play any of my decks. And now at 20, I feel like it's an okay amount where I do get to see most of my stuff. And it's not a nightmare after a set comes out trying to update these decks. So yeah, if you enjoyed any of this, let me know down in the comments. Definitely want to get all other 20 of my decks going. And yeah, if you are inspired, please play Jalira. I love this commander. She is amazing. And Blightsteel is amazing. If you want to tilt somebody in your play group, this is fun. I will say it's not the strongest. It is not the strongest. People will say it's the boogeyman and you're scary and we got to get that Blightsteel gone and over with. But really, it's hard to win with this deck. I'm not going to lie. Just because, you got a big target on your back. Well, thanks for watching again. And check out more here in this channel. I like I said, we got more stuff here. Glad you came by and stopped by. Give me a little like and subscribe if you liked any of this. Just come talk to me. We got a Discord. We got, our podcast. Just check out here on YouTube. All right. We'll see you guys later. Peace.